Welcome to the AGM. My name is Pia Huber. I'm presently the chair of the BRC Governing Board. Thank you for attending tonight. I'd like to introduce the other board members who are from, I go in order, Susan Evans, give a wave if you may, Alan Longcroft, Julie Stone, Sarah Major, Liana Aquilina, Jana Brown, and Samantha Peters. Unfortunately, Joseph Ogbonna, who is the 9th member of the board, can't be with us. He had a family bereavement. Also, I'd like to introduce our CEO, Jennifer Norton, and our treasurer, present treasurer, Richard Costella, and our hopefully treasurer to be is going to be Kalman Preval. He's nominated, and it's up to you to give him your approval. So the AGM is going to be recorded. This is for the purposes of the minutes. I'd like to first ask you to keep a minute's silence. This is as a mark of respect for following the death of Queen Elizabeth II on Thursday, the 8th of September. Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to make a few announcements. It is with great pleasure to announce 2 new BRC Fellows. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
So to announce 2 new BRC Fellows. This award is given for special services to the acupuncture profession and to the BRC. Congratulations go first to Phil Rose Neal, and our congratulations also go to Sarah Budd. I will say a bit more about new fellows at the conference dinner, so hopefully you can join us tomorrow night and celebrate these people. I would also like to, as I previously pointed out, announce that sadly Richard Costella is leaving us after this AGM today. He's retiring from his role as a treasurer. I'd like to give huge thanks to Richard for steering our finances so ably and well over the last nearly 4 years. It was an exceptionally difficult time and challenging, with the epidemic causing disruption of income and steadiness. Thank you, Richard, for helping us getting through this well and intact. So the official business, I declare the AGM for the official business open. The meeting is quorate. We have over 25 voting members here. The AGM is going to last from 5 p.m. still about 6, but it may be 6:15, depending on how many questions there are and how the discussion is going. The statutory business of the AGM will be dealt with first, and including the questions which were tabled before the meeting. The formal meeting will then be closed, and if time allows, there will be a presentation followed by an open question and answer opportunity. Non-members, staff and students are not eligible to vote and should not raise their hands at any time during a vote, in accordance with Article 17. For online voting, votes will be cast with a yes or no in the chat box as instructed, and someone is monitoring this. Members who are present here should raise their hands. Members of staff who are also members of the BXC are of course eligible to vote. Anyone who wishes to speak during the AGM, please raise your hand, and when you're called on, please state your name very clearly so that it may be recorded accurately for the minutes. For those joining us online, please put your question in the chat box, and the questions will be read out to the room. The sooner we complete the statutory business of the company AGM, the more time we can allow for questions and discussions. There are member questions already submitted, and these will be dealt with at the end of the formal AGM. Jennifer, can you read out the names of apologies we have received so far?
So we have received one apology from Joseph Obunga, who is our director.
Okay. Thank you. The first official business is to, I think I may have to move on here. So the first, if you start the right one. The first official business is the approval of the minutes of the last AGM, which was held on the 17th of September 2021. Can I ask if anybody has any corrections to those minutes? They were circulated to the members with the first notice of the AGM in June and the second notice of the AGM in August. So if you have any questions, any corrections, please do raise them now. I can't see any hands raised. Can I therefore ask for a proposer that the minutes are taken as read with these, with no amendments?
We have a proposer.
Spot Dutton, sorry. And can I have a seconder for this proposal? Felicity Moore. Thank you. Are there any matters still arising?
Yeah, Sarah Parker asked for further clarity regarding membership numbers. This will be discussed further in the formal business of the AGM has been completed.
Good, so we can move on. And I'm going to just read out my report, the chair report for 2021. So here it goes. At the beginning of 2021, we were still very much in the grip of COVID-19. Some colleagues told me that they were getting very busy. Others were still shielding and hesitant to restart at all. Thankfully for the staff and governing board of the BXC, things began to normalize. In March 2021, we launched our 5-year strategy. It was a much needed piece of work to give our organization a clear steer, detailing where we are going, what we want to achieve in the coming years. It was developed with a lot of input from the strategy focus group, which consisted of 12 BXC members who worked tirelessly to help the strategy become what members want. The 6 key objectives for the 5 years until 2026 are always put members at the heart of what we do, raise the profile of our members, uphold professional standards, help members to deliver best practice and run a business, run the BXC as an organization that is cost-effective, open and accountable, strive to be a green and environmentally friendly organization in line with current best practice. The strategy helps us to keep our minds focused on what our emphasis is for a period of 5 years. The strategy informs what the BXC should plan and work on, and in turn helps the governing board to monitor and challenge whether what happens on the ground is indeed what members want. In recognition for the profession, we know from our annual members survey that recognition of both acupuncture as a profession and specifically recognition of BXC members is of great importance to our members. With BXC standards positively acknowledged by organizations worldwide, but UK government reluctant to introduce further regulation, we must look for other ways of recognition and how we can work differently to help raise the profile of both our members and the profession. Over the past 10 years, there has been a steady increase in the proportion of well-trained acupuncturists, thanks to the diligent work of the acupuncture training colleges overseen by the BARB. This has resulted in a reclassification of acupuncturists within the Office for National Statistics. In the standard occupational classification, acupuncturists have been classified health associate professionals in 2010. By 2020, acupuncturists had gained the classification therapy professionals. This is a great achievement through the collaboration of the BXC, the BAAB, and the training colleges. In 2021, our governing board member, Susan Evans, took on the challenge of chairing the newly formed Professional Recognition Working Group, PRWG, in order to move this forward. This working group, consisting of representatives of the 4 nations of the UK, aims to further local recognition. One such aspect during the pandemic was to successfully help practitioners open their clinics when other businesses were told to stay closed. PRWG also made our voice heard by responding to the Department of Health white paper and is presently involved in the Accredited Registers Collaborative, ARC, which is a collaboration by PSA accredited registers to work for better recognition and representation. The BXC received a number of applications from members in 2021 for acupuncture projects, and funding was given to several community projects. For consideration, they needed to be of immediate help to particular target populations, and hopefully they will serve in the future to disseminate the uptake of acupuncture as healthcare provision. 2021 has certainly been a busy year. I would like to thank all governing board members, those in 2021 and those who stayed with us or joined us in 2022, and all committee members for their many hours of work, thought and exploration to support our profession and our organization. Many thanks to Jennifer Norton and all BXC staff for their persistence, patience, and work to improve the services we offer to members, putting them at the heart of what we do. And thanks, of course, to you, our BXC members, for using, developing, and providing your skills for the benefit of patients who turn to us for the care clearly missed in mainstream health services. Thank you. I will now give the word to Jennifer Norton to present her report.
Thanks very much, Pia. Thank you for joining us this evening. For those who don't know me, I'm Jennifer Norton. I've been the Chief Executive since December of 2019. And I have to say, it's really good to actually meet many of you in person for the first time. So it's going to be a great weekend, I think. So following a particularly challenging year for 2021, offered new light and some hope for everyone. It was really great to hear that things were beginning to start to open up, including many of your practices, offering a sense of normality, familiarity, and security. For the BACSI, having navigated conflicting messages from governments throughout the previous year, 2021 offered an opportunity to reset, to establish a stronger, more supportive organisation, as we agreed in our 5-year strategy. Developed by members through consultation and advisory groups, it sets out BACSI's aims and objectives for the next 5 years. It is a guide for us in our service to members so that we continue to keep you at the heart of everything we do. To accompany the launch of the strategy, we carried out our first member survey for many years. This provided insights regarding the concerns of members and ensuring that we were putting membership front and centre. Listening to members, we launched our new interim website for 2021. This temporary site enabled us to remove an antiquated, broken website and provide all the resources you needed in a safe and secure setting, whilst internally we set about creating our new database and accompanying website, which launched this summer. In 2021, we once again renewed our accreditation for our voluntary register through the PSA. We are delighted as we work hard to honour our responsibilities to the PSA to ensure our members are recognised for their high levels of training and professionalism. The PSA exists to protect the public and help ensure its safety. There is a significant benefit to having this mark of quality as part of membership. Much of our work in 2020 focused on supporting members through the pandemic. Our COVID Secure Working Group continued to work diligently through 2021, evaluating government's announcements across the 4 nations and Channel Islands. In partnership with the Register of Chinese Herbal Medicine, we regularly updated our guidelines, hosting 5 online meetings with members to discuss the changes of legislation and how they impacted you. Following the successful launch of Let's Talk About campaigns in 2020, we hosted Let's Talk About Chronic Pain to accompany the NICE guidelines released early in 2021. On the back of this campaign and in collaboration with the BMAS and AACP, we launched the NHS Commissioning Project to support acupuncture in the NHS. I would like to invite you to attend the Integrated Project open discussion tomorrow afternoon, which will explore this project and how you as members can get involved. We followed up this campaign with Let's Talk About Advertising, which explores the requirements for advertisements and how members can use evidence to support promotion of their practice. Our conference returned online with a bumper program for learning for members. In March 2021, following a highly successful ARC conference, we said goodbye to Mark Bovey, our research manager. Instrumental in supporting the BACSI since its inception, Mark continued his unwavering support through a very difficult 2020. We also launched our new South Practice monthly webinar series in autumn of 2021, discussing adverse incidents and a series on red flags, providing a space for members to learn from each other. In addition, we reviewed and relaunched our mentoring supervision list to provide additional support and resources for members. Regional group webinars to continue to flourish online with over 10 sessions taking place throughout 2021. Our governing board moved from 8 meetings in 2020 back to 4 meetings in 2021. This enabled a sense of normalcy to return to after a very difficult year. The board, led by Pia Huber, practitioner member, oversees the work of the BACSI, ensuring that we undertake is in line with the strategy and encompasses the views of the members. Our committees returned online, Our members' participation in these committees, providing insight and recommendations, is essential to help understand the needs of members and to help focus the work of the BACSI. I would like to thank all participants who are currently or have been involved in our committees and the working groups for giving their time and help drive positive change for our members. Internally, we continue to look at our finances. We downsized our office in London, making additional savings for BACSI. The move to remote working, whilst not always ideal, has meant we are able to protect staff during a very turbulence of the COVID pandemic, which has affected us all. Lay practitioner director Susan Evans has led the professional recognition working group. She's not lay director at all, is she? She's a practitioner director. Continued to our lobbying of governments in 2021. Successes included the Welsh Government inclusion of acupuncture in its exemption from closure lists in early 2021, as well as Oliver Mundell, MSP, raised a question with the Scottish Cabinet in March of 2021, supporting BACSI's position to allow members to continue to support patients in practice. We are pleased to consult with the Scottish Government in relation to their updated mask exemption legislation. I would like to take this opportunity to thank members within those nations who supported our lobbying efforts across the UK. Just as we have learned to work and connect in different ways, 2021 has been an opportunity for BACSI to re-establish bonds, collaborating with like-minded organisations, including ETCMA, AACP, BMAS, BAAB, RCHM, as well as the Accredited Registered Collaborative, the Council of Head of Acupuncture Colleges, and other charitable organisations. We are playing an active part in something bigger, working together to improve the profile of members and the profession as a whole. Moving into 2022, we continue to adjust and adapt to the landscape that changes around us. We continue to host most committee and board meetings online to ensure cost savings to members. Although we are pleased by these actions we have taken to financially protect BACSI for the years to come, there is much more for us to do. We have spent much of 2022 working predominantly on our new CRM database and the accompanying website that was launched this summer. Thank you for your comments and suggestions for the website. On behalf of the staff, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for your continued well wishes and support as we move BACSI into a more modern, agile and supportive membership organisation. And finally, on behalf of myself and the staff team, I'm delighted to meet you all in person for the first time in 2 years. We look forward to learning from you throughout this weekend and ensuring we are putting members at the heart of everything we do. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Jennifer. And I would like to introduce Richard Costello, who will give us the treasury report.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Richard Costello. I've been the treasurer for the past nearly 4 years now. Okay. From the financial point of view, 2021 was a much better year for the council. Our income was up and our expenditure was down, resulting in a surplus of 89,000 for the year. It's the first time in 3 years we've reported a surplus. The pandemic and the support that we gave to members through the period has depleted our reserves and left our finances in a less than optimal position. So it's pleasing to see the recovery in 2021. The difficult decisions taken by the board during 2020 to reduce our cost base by 20% have proved to be successful. During the year, the full effect of the 2020 cost reductions has been felt and further cost saving measures were taken. As Jennifer mentioned, these include releasing some of the space in Jeddo Road, reflecting the needs of the smaller head office operation that we now run. By the surplus, we still have not been able to rebuild our reserves to a level at which we feel comfortable, and we will need to continue to do this. The pandemic has shown us the importance of holding reserves against future events, and we will continue to build them up to a level that allows the long-term viability of the council. I'm expecting a further surplus in 2022, but it won't be as high as in 2021, but this will help us further. The coming few months will put further strain on our finances, particularly as inflation looks like it's going to increase our costs, but we feel confident enough that we do not need to revise the annual subscriptions for 2023. In the pie chart, you can see that only 23% of our income is spent on the administration of the council. The rest is used to provide services for members and to maintain our professional standards. Finances of the council are managed through the Finance, Risk and Audit Committee, which meets quarterly. We currently have a vacancy for a financially aware member for this committee. If anybody is interested, please come and talk to me or Calwent or Jennifer, and we can tell you more about it. On a personal note, as has been said, I'm stepping down as lay treasurer, having completed my 3-year term. Here has been an enjoyable challenge, balancing the finances in a period of great turbulence. I found working with the board and staff very rewarding. I'm happy to hand over to my successor, Calwent, whom I'm sure will be able to build on the platform that's been established and help the organisation grow and prosper. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Richard. We now need to adopt the director's report.
I need to read out the actual opinion on the accounts.
Yes.
So this is the report from our auditors, H.L. Baines & Co. In our opinion, the financial statements give a true and fair view of the state of the company's affairs as at 31st December 2021 and of its surplus for the year then ended, have been properly prepared in accordance with the United Kingdom generally accepted accounting practice, and have been prepared in accordance with the requirements of the Companies Act 2006.
Need to have a proposal for this to go through. Body goes. Jane Robinson, thank you very much. And a seconder? Richard Blackwell, thank you very much. And we need a general vote on this. So please, if you agree with this, can you raise your hand? This you need to count. Yeah. Good, thank you very much. Richard, I'll hand over to you again.
When I need to change the slide. Okay, we're talking about next year's subscriptions, and at the board meeting on the 21st of October, my successor Calwent will be proposing that for the 10th year running, subscriptions will remain at the same level. And this again needs a vote, I believe.
Yes. So, can I see a raise of hands if you agree with this proposal?
Nobody wants it.
No, only me.
Thank you very much.
And obviously for the company seal, just to confirm that the seal has been used 98 times since the last AGM, and this gives a good indication of the number of new members who have joined us during the last 12 months. So the elections of 2 practitioner members for the governing board. I confirm that there are 2 nominations received for 2 vacancies by the Thursday, the 22nd of July. There were no challenges made for these nominations 48 hours before this AGM, which means that these nominees have been accepted and duly elected by the governing board. The 2 nominees are Alan Longcroft to serve his 2nd term and final 3-year term of office, and Sarah Major, who was appointed in 2021 when Paul Blacker resigned his position, to serve her first term of office. So
I'd like to thank Alan and Sarah. So this is to now elect our new treasurer. The BXC rules say that our treasurer is independent of the governing board and is elected by the members. Therefore, it's up to you to elect our nominated treasurer. Calvin Graval has been selected from a big number of applicants and to be nominated by the governing board. Calvin Graval is a qualified accountant with over 14 years experience, and he has worked in many healthcare settings. So, have there been any challenges in the 48 hours before the AGM? No, thank you. So I need to have again a proposal and a seconder for the appointment of the treasurer. If I would have some. Alex Brachkowicz, thank you very much. And a seconder. Vanessa Menendez Covello. Thank you. Thank you very much. And we need now to have a general vote. So if you are happy with Calvin taking over from Richard, can you please raise your hands? Thank you very much. I think that's congratulations, Calvin. Thank you. We now need to move to the appointment of the auditors. Move on. I would like to propose that the current auditors, H.L. Barnes and Company, be appointed as the auditors for a further year and to authorize the directors to fix their remuneration. Again, I need to have a proposer. Yasmin Udin, thank you very much. And a seconder. Alex Jacobs, thank you very much. And we need to have this followed by another vote, I'm afraid. So if you are happy with these appointments of the current auditors, please raise your hands. Thank you very much. That looks in favor. There have been yeah, okay, I'll hand over to you. Thank you.
So as we said, we asked members to submit some questions before the deadline of the 9th of September, and we've received 3 questions. So this is the first question. It comes from Sarah Parker. And as you can see, it's quite an extensive question. So I may have to refer to my notes about it a little bit. But I do understand that Sarah has been asking this question for many years and really has felt that the BXC has brushed her off a little bit, and I'm really sorry that she's felt that way. So we're going to try and break down these numbers. It's a little bit tricky. Because our dates start from January to December. So we kind of look at our endpoint in December of every year, not in the middle of, not at the AGM period. So kind of makes it a little bit difficult to pick up those questions. I'm also really sorry to say that our old database really was not fit for purpose. And it meant that the statistical questions that she was asking were not answerable at that time. And that's maybe why she wasn't receiving the responses that she was keen to get from the old team. It also means that the information that we can provide is limited prior to the implementation of our new CRM system. But we'll try our best to answer those questions. Steve Rainbird, who is our membership manager, almost forgot, has also produced a blog which is available for members online, which digs deeper into the details, so you can better understand those numbers. And we plan to publish this annually, probably after our renewal period, so it will be around April, May of every year, so it gives you a better sense of what is happening with the membership levels. Okay, so the lovely slides that we produced for you are not here, so that's unfortunate. I'm just going to have to read them. So everybody with a pen and paper may need to write this down. Our current membership stands at the end of August at 2,867. This is broken down into 2,080 full members, 85 overseas members, 234 non-practicing members, and finally 468 student members. We've now finally been able to capture student members. This is a really important piece for us to understand the conversion rates and begin plotting new membership joining the BIAC for the years to come. Since we've changed to our upgraded CRM system, we can begin to track incoming members on a monthly basis. So in the last 5 months, we've had 23 new graduate members. 24 admissions have been from people who are rejoining the organization, and 15 who have moved from non-practicing to the full membership rate. That's 62 in total. However, this is tempered by the fact that we've had 24 resignations and 12 members who have moved down to non-practicing. Looking at the year-to-year analysis, using the year end to date and excluding students, and there was going to be a lovely graph for you all to have a look at, our current rate for that is 2,399. That's at the end of August. So that's a plus 14. But when we look at the first 2 weeks of September, we have jumped up to 2,414. So as you can see, numbers can fluctuate when we take a snapshot, and that's why we prefer our year-end date when we're looking at this membership renewals, and those membership renewals have been completed. So looking at 2021, our numbers were 2,385. So from August, that's a plus 15, and for September, that's a plus 29. Year end for 2016 is 2,860. Year end 2011, 3,140, and year end 2006, 2,740. So as you can see, the membership numbers have gone up and then gone back down again. And it has done a slight tick back up in 2022. This uptick is positive response following the pandemic of 2020 and can indicate green shoots for the BIAC membership recovery. However, I must note a level of caution. It is still very early, and it is only with many years of statistical information can we begin to accurately report trend lines and what this means for BIAC membership long term. We have instituted an online exit survey in November of 2021, and we have run a telephone pilot survey for exiting members in early 2022. As you can imagine, this is quite difficult to capture responses for those who have left the organisation. I want to take this moment to thank Balquiz Ali and Sandra Hart for spearheading the telephone consultations. We felt it was important that members should be contacted by members when leaving the organisation, as they would feel maybe more comfortable to speak to them. In total, for both initiatives, we've received 43 responses in total. We are currently reviewing our pilot scheme in order to improve response rates. But from those who did respond, the issue most affecting them is cost of membership. We're aware that this has been an ongoing issue for a number of years and therefore have not raised our membership rate in 10 years. We are undertaking a review of our membership categories and fee structure, something which probably hasn't taken place since 2012, if not before that, to ensure that it is modern, equitable, and fit for purpose. So maybe I'll finish to say, but what are we doing to attract new members? We're reopening our independent admissions process for those wishing to join the BACC, from those coming from overseas or from other non-accredited routes. This was suspended during the 2020 pandemic, and this will be relaunched later this year. We're also undertaking a lapsed member campaign in early of 2023. This will reach out to former members, explain the changes we have made to the organisation and support them to rejoin. We continue to work with CHAC to support students who are looking at programmes to support them in student membership to aid those conversion rates in the years to come. By being able for the first time to monitor student conversion, we will really be able to dig down into the reasons for joining in the first instance and ensure that they remain a member in the long term. Finally, our comms strategy will look to promote BACC to a wider audience, ensuring that we are the authoritative voice in acupuncture profession, and this will aid us to attract new members in the future. Right, so the second I have lost my space. Here we go. So the second question has come from Joe Jennings. Will the British Acupuncture Council be looking to make representations or assist members to make representations to the integrated care systems that have just started nationally and allow new partnerships between the organisations that meet health and care needs across the area to coordinate services and to plan in ways that improves population health and reduces inequalities between different groups? I've asked Susan Evans, who is a practitioner director of the British Acupuncture Council and chairs the Professional Recognition Working Group, to answer this question. Thank you, Susan. Hi. So I don't know if everybody knows about the integrated care systems. It's a very new initiative set up by the government, and it's a wonderful opportunity for us as practitioners. So basically the answer is yes, yes, and yes. And the integrated care systems are a way of looking, the healthcare system is looking for new ways of supporting patients. Now, we've already got one of the ICSs in Gloucester has got some of acupuncture working within one of the GP practices. So this particular GP practice wanted to be able to have out of hours treatments, but they didn't have enough GPs within the practice, as most practices. So they decided to bring in counselling and acupuncture. So it's a wonderful way for us to start. And if we've got one working really well, then that gives us the opportunity to go to other ICSs and say, this is what we can offer. Ian Appleyard, our research and policy manager, is going to be doing a talk tomorrow. I'm not sure what time, about the ICSs and how we can actually support you to go to your local ICS. It's something really that you have to sort of make you as a member has to make that initial representation to them as what we can offer as acupuncturists. And we as the BACC will support every way we possibly can, whether it's helping you with research that you might need to take to the ICS, or just to help you to go to a meeting. You know, we can really help to support, and anything that members need as far as that communication within the ICS is, you know, we really want to know. So please contact us if you're interested in that sort of work, and attend Ian's workshop tomorrow, so you can get lots more information about what is happening. And the final question, how is BACC responding to gender preferences? And this comes from Felicity Moore, who is in the room today. So thanks, Felicity, for this question. Within the PSA recommendations for BACC for 2022, they asked that BACC begin the process of developing an equity, diversity and inclusion strategy and policy to support not only the internal workings of BACC, but to aid members to navigate EDI in their working practice. We're currently working on that strategy for this project, ensuring that this piece of work can make a significant and lasting changes rather than playing lip service on this very important issue. We aim to include full LGBTQ+, ethnic minorities and other protected characteristics within our EDI strategy. As members will recognise, this incorporates not only how we treat each other as colleagues in person and online, as well as ensuring inclusive language is incorporated into BACC policies, but how we treat their patients. We aim to launch an EDI survey for members in early 2023 so that we have your views. We also aim, we're currently developing our CRM system to begin to be able to voluntarily capture members' information regarding protected characteristics. With the launch of the new strategy of EDI strategy, we'll incorporate a campaign to members, let's talk about EDI, to begin to support members to aid their understanding and their benefits of this important issue. So that really ends the questions and the formal part of the AGM. So we'll open it up to any questions that you may have on the floor or online. So if there are any questions here that we can answer. Yes, sorry, could you state your name? Yes, I'm Beverly DeValma. Thank you, Beverly. Oh, it is working. You just need to.
That better?
Oh, yes, much better.
It's better.
It wasn't you at all, it was the microphone.
So I'd like to thank the BACC for the work that they've done with the PSA and this new ICS. The question I have is, has any work been done to look into putting acupuncture on the list of allied health professionals in the NHS?
Susan? Yeah, it should do. It should be on, Susan.
Is it on?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, good question. It is something we are trying to navigate. I mean, trying to navigate the NHS and all the 4 different countries that and we've got the Channel Islands as well, because within all the different countries, everything is completely different. So we are trying to navigate our way through. I mean, during COVID, trying to get anybody to listen to us. And, you know, within the NHS, that's still sort of being mocked up quite a lot. But we'd love to get represented, you know, as...
I would love us to be represented on that too, yeah.
Sorry?
I said I would love acupuncture
Yeah.
to be on that list.
Yeah, I mean, it is a wish, you know, and it's something that the PRG have got on their, you know, it's on our wish list, I suppose. So it's not something that we have ruled out, but it is just, it's at the minute we are trying to make relationships with people so that we can take all these things forward that we would really like to do. And again, finding people to talk to has been particularly difficult over the last couple of years. But yeah, it's where I would like to see us lie, so that if anything ever came up again, you know, that we can be treated as allied health professionals, you know, so yeah, but it's more tricky than than anticipated.
Sure it is, yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Beverly.
Oh, hang on, Ian wants
Ian
to
has,
say something.
Ian wants to butt in. Hold on.
As Susan said earlier, one of the things we've been doing is working with PSA. So in 2 weeks' time, I have a meeting with PSA and we have an agenda list of things that we would like for them. And one of them is to discuss having pay classifications within the NHS for our membership. So, I mean, this came from the Gateway Clinic in London, because they've been doing a lot about some work on this. And therefore we need to talk to the PSA about finding a way that acupuncturists can fit into that structure without being classed as administration, which is what happens now. So 2 weeks' time, we've got a meeting coming up.
Thank you, Ian. Do we have any other questions? Hi. Can you state your name first?
Yes, hi, I'm Vanessa Menendez Cabello. Can I have 2 questions?
Of course you can.
Right, so as a former technologist, I'm quite interested in the new website.
Sure.
So my first question is, what was the criteria for the selection of whoever implemented the website? I imagine it was external.
Yes.
I can't imagine us building it.
No.
So how were they chosen?
So we went out to tender and we looked at 3 separate companies. I have worked in an organization previously where the website developer and the CRM system were built separately, and it led to catastrophe, to be honest. Our feeling at the time was that it was important that that is incredibly integrated. For us, internally, and I say this with great respect, but internally it is the CRM system that we wanted built and built well. And that's the piece that we've been very focused on. So the website itself is almost like a wrapping around that CRM system. So that's how it was chosen. So we had one who was wanting to sell us a CRM system. We had another one who was just a website builder, and this final version is Civi CRM, which is an open source CRM. So it makes it that we can lift it and move it if we need to do that from the current website provider. So that's really why we chose this final person.
Okay, thank you very much. And the second question, oh, I think I forgot it. No. Yes, I forgot it. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
It'll
We can come
to
back.
me. Yeah, I'll come back.
You'll just like tap me on the shoulder tomorrow.
Yes,
and
no,
say,
it's
"I
come
have
back to
another
me.
question."
So
Okay.
I didn't use much the old website because
Mm.
I'm fairly new to the BXC. But I think one of the most popular aspects of it for the members
Mhm.
was the discussion forum.
Yeah.
And the new one doesn't have one. And people have been using Facebook with more or less success.
Yeah.
So do we have plans to actually have a moderated by
Yes.
BXC forum?
Yeah. So we are kind of in discussions about developing the forum and discussion board sites. What we want to do is ensure that we've got our policies set up and appropriate for that, and obviously being able to explain those policies and moderations for members. So it is a build that we're currently in discussions with them. As we said when we launched the website, it doesn't just stop, it continues. So we're looking in maybe late 2023 for that kind of relaunch of that piece. But there are other things that are coming through, including financials, CPD, and there are other bits and pieces that we'll begin to release. We've just released our photo library this week, so it's going to be a continuous thing. So once it's done, it'll be released. So it will be hopefully back in 23.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hi.
Hello there, Alex
Hi.
Braskovich, member. First of all, though, I know that on your exit survey, so the cost of membership was
Mhm.
a big issue. Both as an osteopath as well as an acupuncturist, I mean, our fees are virtually double what the BXC are
Right.
of re-registration. So to be fair, I think it's quite reasonable.
Thank you very much.
Just to point that out. Secondly, you talk about collaboration with other organisations in integrative health. About 2-3 months ago, I attended the Integrative Health Conference in London at the Queen Elizabeth Building, and quite frankly, I was quite disappointed. The
Yeah.
fact there's very few acupuncturists. There's over 1,000 practitioners, half of which were GPs, very interested in integrative health. And I read the blurb, and it was supported by the BXC, but when I spoke to fellow members, no one had heard of it. So you've got flat plans. I know the plan to the College of Medicine, I think, plan to actually do another conference next year. Is it going to be more promoted?
Yes, absolutely. Ian did actually speak at that conference, and I attended, and so did Pia. But I think as we kind of go through this sort of stuff, it's the communication piece. I think sometimes it's a barrier. So it was promoted to the members, but I think it maybe a bit more widely needs to happen, and also that promotion, because I think we did promote attendance to that conference, so it would have been on our events page, I'm hoping. Yes, Helen's nodding vigorously at me. So it was on our events page, so it was listed, but it is kind of about that kind of further promotion. But you know, you can't force people to. Oh, we're back. So with the finances, the way that they have been, we've been very cautious about where we're kind of directing our money and whether or not it's a good idea to do things like that in a promotion-wise way. Also, we wanted to make sure that we had kind of our communication strategy, the reasons why we would go to that conference, why we would spend money on a stand, and have that all kind of developed and ready to go. So I think maybe last year was a bit too premature. We kind of wanted to go to kind of see how the land lay. I agree with you, there wasn't enough acupuncturists there. And it is something that we'll be looking at, but we'll be looking at across the spectrum of other conferences that we should go to promote acupuncture and promote our members further. So that's kind of part of the work that we'll be doing, hopefully. So we'll be launching it in 23 as well. There's another question.
Hi, it's Beverly DeValwa again. Hi. So this evening we've got an opportunity to see an excellent film that's being
Yes.
hosted by Felicity Moore, Journey to the West. I've seen this and I urge everyone to make sure they go and see it this evening. But I have a question about a film that the BXC made that had a rather unfortunate history, to the point which we tried to launch once, and Boris Johnson called an election, and then when it was
COVID.
launched at the Houses of Parliament, COVID was announced the next day, I think. But it is still there. It's on the, I know it's on the YouTube website,
Yeah.
but members don't know about it. And I wonder, as we have, that there's been an investment in making that film, is there any way of resurrecting that and
Absolutely.
promoting it some more?
Yeah, so we have, you know, it is something that we've been quite mindful of during actually 2020. What we were doing is we were taking snippets of that film itself and using it as part of our promotion. I think within the Let's Talk About campaigns, we use kind of 5 minutes pieces. But it's certainly that's something that we've been talking about within our own comm strategy of how we're going to use that further in the years to come. It is a good piece of work. And, you know, as you said, the BXC made a big investment into it. So we do need to kind of think about how we can repackage it for now. So yeah, is the answer, I think. Yeah.
That's great, good, thank you.
Yeah, there's a lady here.
Hi, Jane Robinson. I just wanted to ask how your Let's Talk About series went. How successful were they? You know, it's good to hear that they were happening, but how well attended were they, and were they considered a success?
They are well attended. I couldn't give you
of sort of professional memberships tie insurance into membership. I'm a shiatsu practitioner as well, and I could get my shiatsu insurance sort of kind of slotted quite easily underneath my acupuncture, but I can't also be in the Shiatsu Society because they've got to deal with Balens. So I'm paying quite a lot of money because everybody likes to have their own insurance. And just following on a little bit from what Alex said in respect to the Osteopathy Council registration fees, I'm also a midwife, so my NMC registration cost me £120 a year. My Royal College of Midwives membership is £220 a year. So in total, I'm paying £340 for my overall membership, and I can choose not to be in the RCM. That's kind of my union where I get all the really good stuff that we have in the BACC that's supportive. That comes from the RCM. For midwives, it doesn't come from the NMC. They just literally, you're not allowed to work if you're not on that register, so you have to pay it. And I think there must be other people who obviously got other kind of registrations and practice in other disciplines, and it adds up cost wise when you've got when your membership of your governing body, if you like, is also like you have to have that insurance. It just comes as one package. I mean, having the flexibility to just have like the BACC membership and access to the support that's on the webpage without being covered by insurance, and kind of divorcing those would just create another category that makes it more affordable for people when they're only paying like, you know, however much it is for the BACC, and then you've got to pay another £250 for the Shiatsu Society, when actually if I've got my Shiatsu underneath the BACC one, it will cost me something like £25, but because I'm having to tie in my membership with the Shiatsu Society, it's another 250 quid. And that starts to add up when I'm on 3 professional registers, and it's costing me £1,000 a year just before I even go out and do anything. And I think it doesn't need to be like that. So I know when I spoke to somebody before, it's cheaper for me to be in the BACC and then pay the membership under Shiatsu separately than because I could get my acupuncture underneath Shiatsu, but then obviously I wouldn't be able to be a member of the BACC because it's tied in with insurance. Everything is tied in with insurance. So given that we're all kind of degree level qualified for acupuncture, the long and the short of it is, please can you put a new category in that means that you could kind of opt in or out to the insurance. That's
yes,
thank you.
And I thank you. And certainly, you know, it is something that we are quite mindful of when we're looking at our membership categories. There is a kind of an added thing to this, and this is why organizations do this, is that the more members that you can bring to the insurance, the less the insurance costs. So that really is the kind of where it kind of teeters, right? So the more people that you bring in to an insurance company, the less it will cost the individual member for that insurance. So that's kind of why it's there in that way, but certainly it's something that we can look at. Steve is here, who is the membership manager, and I think maybe you have a conversation with him sometime over the weekend, and it would be really great to hear your views and how we can think about that, because he's doing the membership category. It's not me. He's doing that piece of work, so he can listen and kind of think about that as part of the overall process when we're doing that renewal piece, as we discussed earlier. Yeah.
Thanks again. Just on the insurance, I know that the subject of bleeding has come up quite a lot.
Yes.
People have actually moved to moved to other providers because they're not allowed, or there's just limited cover for bleeding, and because your insurance is tied, they left the BACC because of that. Is there any movement with the?
There is actually. We are in conversations with Loughton's at the moment around that piece. Obviously, we have to put some work in before they kind of go to that insurance, but we are working with them at the moment to make that change, because I think it is quite an important piece. As you said, people then look for alternative insurance. So yes, absolutely. Any other questions? Hannah?
We have a question online
Oh, lovely.
by Sandra Hart. Unfortunately, this did come in too late for us to prepare the full answer, so we will log it with the AGM. However, I will read out Sandra's question. She's asking about the process for the complaints, for patient complaints, the support practitioners receive during this process, and if there is any circumstances where a member could be subject to cost not covered by the insurance cover.
Okay. Thank you very much. I do not believe that would be the case for the latter parts, but obviously we will talk to our insurance providers for that, and we'll get back to Sandra. Maybe we'll do some sort of blog post in total. Yeah, they're all nodding over there in the corner. So in regards to the first piece, and I think this is quite important, and it's something that we have recognized in-house. When a complaint is brought against a member and they go through that complaints process, we don't know. So there is one person in our office who is kind of, forgive the pun, behind a Chinese wall. We don't know really any of the cases that are happening. We don't know the name of the member. We don't know what the reason for that is occurring, what the complaint is or anything like that. I'm given a very top level briefing, but I don't know about the individual, and that's done for a reason. And it's incredibly important that that kind of anonymity is kept for the members, so that don't feel like they're being treated differently or perceive that they're being treated differently. However, it does mean that we can't contact them and say, we heard you had a problem. The reverse is actually the case. What they have to do is they have to come to us and tell us so that we can provide additional support. There are support on the website. We've laid out all of the things that you can do if a complaint is raised in this way and you're going through the professional conduct process. But you do actually have to reach out to us for that change. I think, you know, we've been in conversations about what we can do to highlight that to members, and it's certainly something that I think we need to work on a little bit more. So thank you, Sandra, for the question. Thank you very much for coming. We'll see you over the weekend. Thank you.